All right, I assume that we are streaming. I'm not going to swear to it. A little bit late on the uptake this week. Way too many irons in the fire. Hope everybody is having a good week. We are wrestling with the Lost City of Gaxmore and Amazing Adventures 5e, two gigantic projects. Trying to get those things wrapped up. Fairly quiet. Good, since it's just Tuesday. You don't really want a week filled with ruckus by Tuesday. That would not be good. So I couldn't find the graphics for AMA. We change them every week. I don't know where they are. So I just quit looking and just put roundups and recaps on here. I think that'll work. Sorry, I haven't answered all the crap. Too much coming at me. So I'm not even sure what we're doing. I think we're doing another AMA, which I honestly can't remember what that stands for again. Something. I don't know why we've got to make everything into an acronym. I still can't follow GMTT. It's way too much to say. GM strict to the trade is easier to exercise. There you go. Ask me anything. That's a dangerous thing to say. So what happened to FAQ? Wasn't that the thing you used to say FAQ like 6 months ago, and that changed? So now we're doing AMA FAQs now. So in a couple of years we'll do something else. kind of standard for the world would be wonderful. All right, so I don't even know what we're doing. So let me fire any questions you have at me. The FAQ you prep, so the frequently asked questions is something you prepare for. The AMA is sort of like the Clinton with his underwear question. Like you wear boxers or briefs or whatever. Hold on. Let's see, I have not, Starship Warden, I have not actually opened it, but I got an email this morning from Jason Walton saying the first round of fresh art is done. So the Starship Warden, and I'm debating as to when we're going to release that PDF, probably next week. I don't know if you remember, but during the Kickstarter we let everybody know that the Warden was finished. The Warden was presented to us how James Ward wanted it to look. So he laid it, his team laid it out. We're really just his publishers. I did have a request that some of the art be changed. There's an awful lot of clip art in there, and I'm not a huge fan of clip art. Jim likes clip art, so we met in the middle, and we're going to swap some of it out. One of the first things that I wanted swapped out, on each of the 17 decks that we have there, there's an introductory piece of art. It's a full-page piece of art. And it kind of very loosely represents what the deck was and or what the deck has become. For instance, I think deck 5, I guess 13, I can't remember now. One of the decks was just for repairs for the ship, repairs for equipment tools. It's just a giant industrial district, for lack of a better word. It has of course been obliterated by the radiation. Everything in there turned to dust, and it's now this kind of toxic desert type environment. And that image, so the image that he had in there, that Chris Clark actually did the layout, had in there kind of captured what it was and what it is. I've asked Jason Walton, who you're familiar with. This is a Jason Walton right next to me here with the tower overlooking the river, to go in and to change all of that, all of those introductory pieces into original pieces. So the first batch of those, I think they're doing in the batches of 5, and they have 18 to do, I think, 17 decks and 1 dome. I believe that's the number. First 5 are done, and my guess is in the next 4 or 5 weeks he'll have all those done. In the meantime, as soon as we get Amazing Adventures kind of finalized, it's at the printer now. We still have to finalize the files with them and make sure everything's uploaded properly and all of that business. And this is Amazing Adventures 5e. We got a Gaxmore up, which Peter Bradley and I are doing, hammering away on that. Still got a few entries to get in and some 5th edition conversion to do on some of those entries. But once that's done, then we'll have a gander at Starship Wars and get those art pieces done. Hopefully by that point, Jason's finished the lion's share of his art. But we should be releasing that PDF soon, keeping in mind that will not be its final form. Yes, Commander Pete, that was a real question. Is there a Monsters and Treasure for 5e in the works? There's a Monsters and Treasures of Erd for 5e in the works. Most of the monsters in our monster book are not, a good chunk of them, probably 60-70% of them are actually from the Open Gaming license, from the SRD, 3.0 SRD. So those monsters you actually have already for 5e, but I know that we have almost completely finished working up the Monsters and Treasures of Erd 5th edition. I think the only section that needs to be converted is the treasure section in the back. I gave the green light to wrap that up last week, so I'm not really sure where we are in that. So we will be having a monster book for 5e, but it will actually be Monsters and Treasures of Erd for 5e. I don't know yet. We've got to do the time frame on the MTA 5e. The next Kickstarter we're doing, and that'll definitely be a Kickstarter project because I want it to come out in full color or not at all. But before that, we got to do the Castle Features guide. We're down to 3 or 4 dozen of those things, and we got to get that. We have to make sure that stays in print. So we're going to do a Kickstarter on that here in the next few weeks. We'll launch that Kickstarter to get the 3rd printing of the CKG out, upgraded and put into a good tip-top shape. And then after that, on the board, I've got the Spell Compendium. We haven't decided the title for Castles and Crusades. And then we've got other things floating around, Mystical Companions 5e. I'm looking at that. The MT of A for 5th edition, we're looking at that. And then we've got Planescape, Outdrag, and whatnot. So probably if I was to be a betting man, I would say summertime is a good time to look for the Kickstarter for the Monsters and Treasures there. And like many of these projects, we're trying to have the bulk of the work done before we launch the Kickstarter, and meaning to say that we can go into pre-production layout and whatnot almost immediately. So by summer months, we'll definitely have that treasure section wrapped up and put together. So that would be good. Are there any ongoing Kickstarters that TOG folks are particularly excited about, not counting any of your own, of course? Commander Pete, I actually haven't had any chance to even fish around with the Kickstarter community in months. I want to say there was something that was sent over to me that I got pretty excited about, but I can't remember what it was. Joe Goodman just closed his out, I think, and Bill Webb, Frog God may still have their classic things going, but I honestly, if Davis were sitting here, I know he peruses Kickstarter quite a bit, but I haven't had a chance to poke around and see what's happening out there. A lot of stuff we're doing, I'm super excited about. I'm most excited about that crazy Spell Compendium book. Keep looking up there because that's where it's written down, and I can't remember what book it is. But Tome of Beasts 2 Yeah, who put that? Who put the Tome of Beasts down? Is that Frog God Games? I think that's Frog God Games. Or maybe that's Cobalt Press. I can't remember who did the Tome of Beasts. But yeah, I haven't actually had a Cobalt Press. There you go. I think they just closed down a Kickstarter a month or so ago. It's got that. It was the Tome of Beasts 2. Looks fantastic. The cover looks really cool. Good stuff. They always have good art over at Cobalt Press. Good content too, I'm certain. But oh, it ends in 3 days. I thought it was done. Oh, I must have caught it at the very beginning of it. Interesting. That's funny. Yeah, absolutely love their art over there. I didn't know they had still 3 days. So good on them. They still got 3 more days to get that thing smoking, and I'm sure it's already smoking pretty good. Knowing Wolfgang over there at Cobalt Press. But and on for our Kickstarter, we've got as soon as Gaxmore gets wrapped up, even as we're kind of poking at the Starship Warden, we're going to put the screws on the Codex Egyptium and the Codex Celtarum and get those things wrapped up. And we're also looking at Codex Nordica, revisiting that very soon. So there's just lots. There's just lots going on around here. An absolute non-stop wave. Yeah, I agree, Red Dragon. It's way overdue. Their spells are scattered all over the place. Our spellcaster has 4 or 5 books in front of him that he's constantly having to delve through to figure out what spells he should be using and what spells he can use. And the game I was running a couple weeks ago with the kids, she's playing a druid, and she had no idea that the adventurer's backpack had druid spells in it. So it's just they're all over the place. We gotta get those all put together in one thing, and I want to get those rune lore spells, the rune spells wrapped up. At least all the ones that I've envisioned. Of course, it's an open system with the rune spells. We're not going to close it. I'll create these 12 or 13 schools or whatever it is, and build on the runes of the initiate, but it'll be open, so we can later make more. You guys can make more. Whoever can make more. I'm checking M&T, although an older edition, maybe 5th. That's when I don't find too many normal animals. Are there any TNT books with a wide selection of animals? The animals were all put in the Monsters and Treasures of Erd. Primarily because the M&T was already out and we needed that resource out, so that's where most of the animals ended up. And I'm relatively certain, I'm going to swear to it because my brain's fried, but I'm relatively certain we moved those out of the Monsters and Treasures of Erd and put them into the Monsters and Treasures 5th printing. Though they are not, let's double check, they may be set in their own. What do we got here? Yeah, I'm not sure. They may not be. I thought that Peter and I had talked about that. I'm looking for the horse, the horse is the jackal. Yeah, it doesn't look like they were. Probably, if I was to remember correctly, I pulled them because it was just too much. The page count was getting to be too large. And as we've all talked about a number of times, I'm kind of a stickler on the page count. Yeah, it looks like they are in Monster Treasure of Erd. Some of them probably got bled over into the M&T, coming from other sources, but they did not make it into the 5th printing, I see. Yeah, it's in the back. They're actually not set alphabetically in there with the other monsters. There's a section called Animals in the back, right before Treasure, where those suckers are. Let's see, did I miss anything? I think that's about, when will you complete the 5e conversion for Alpstrag and release A13 to A70 with Dungeons of Alpstrag 5? So we have, let's see where we are on conversion. Right now, I think we've got all of the modules converted that we're going to be releasing this year. Those should be good. We've got 2 little segments of Gaxmore to do, the NPC contributions, and then there's like 15 short encounters, both from the industry professionals and other people that and backers who dove into that. That we have to convert into the division. Some will already be 5e. So after that's done, the conversion work will shift into Alpstrag, and that'll be A13, of course. We'll kick that. That's Jason's bailiwick. He runs that side of things, but my guess is he's going to punt it to Mark, who's been hammering away on a lot of our conversions, and really gotten the whole thing down. Probably within a month, I think, and that's kind of what we're looking at by year's end, by third quarter this year, rather, what we're going to be doing with Alpstrag. I would like to be really writing those out once a month by second quarter, so that we're hammering them along. And if we end up doing a Kickstarter based on Alpstrag, we'll probably definitely do CNC in a 5e version. I don't like to do that normally. We've done it once. It didn't work well for us, and I like to separate Castles and Crusades in 5th edition. But in this case, we'll probably end up doing them together. Perry, what I meant by not alphabetical, the animals are not, each animal itself, the jaguar, the llama, the deer, is not woven into the Monsters and Treasures of Air general entries. There's all of the general entries of monsters, and then there's a section called animals. And all of the animals are put in that section, and they're alphabetized in that section. So I think it's page 166. I was just looking at it. Animals are on page 169 through 177 are the animals in the MP of A. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yep, as we've discussed, this is an AMA. So any questions you have about anything from Troll Lord stuff to industry stuff, whatever it is, definitely give us a shout. Yeah. Many things hurt the brain, especially with organizing this massive amount of content. I didn't think it was a wonderful idea that Kendra did back in the day, where they took their monsters and did a book for the A monsters, a book for the B, C, D, and on down the line. But Hackmaster was a huge game and had a monstrous number of monsters in it, so I completely understand why they did it, because we're kind of there. We've got Tomb of the Unclean, Monster Treasure there, Monsters and Treasures, and then you take like the Codex Egyptium, which we're working on now. Despite me telling Brian to not put any monsters in there, he filled it with monsters. There's 30 more pages of monsters in there. And I think I'm going to extract those from the text, because I have a pretty good idea what I want to do with those. But then we're looking at yet a 4th book of monsters that'll be mythic monsters. Monsters that are attached to the mythic books. Keltarum, Nordica, Slavorum, Classicum. There's another one in there. Germania, and Egyptium too. So essentially, what I'm looking at, if I can get good focus in on that, I want that series of mythos, the mythos series, the Codex Keltarum through the Codex Classicum, to have 2 bookends on it. One bookend is going to be of Gods and Monsters, and that's going to be the revised of Gods and Monsters that Davis and I are working on now. And then the other bookend will be the mythical monsters, which will take all of the monsters from each of these books and put them in this larger monster book. So essentially you'll have these 2 kind of generalized texts that are your bookends for the mythological series that Brian Young has written for us. So that's kind of my approach to that. It's many a slip between a cup and a lip, and we're not quite there yet. I got to get through the woods of Gaxmore and Amazing Adventures 5e first before I can dive back into mythical stuff. But coming very, very soon. We've got a very, very busy year laid out in front of us, which is good. Fox Review, there you go. The Fox should definitely be in there. Pete, did you check the Druid Familiars and Mystical Companions? There you go. I'm running the C modules in Dungeon Fantasy GURPS right now, and Arid works well in both other systems as well. It really is a testament to your Rosetta Stone of RPGs approach. Thanks, Ingolf, sure appreciate it. And that's really one of the main things about Arid we wanted to impart to people, and still try to impart to people, that it's not a CNC based. It's not even a level based. It's a world setting, and we've been very careful to keep all mechanics out of the primary codex of error. Now, in the player's guide to error, it's a little bit different. You know, we add a little bit for whatever game system we're doing, but definitely keeping the mechanics out has been beneficial there. The original codex of error, of course, did not keep the mechanics out. It had a whole bunch of D20 stuff in there. All right, so Chuck's telling me we're going to be giving away a couple of subs today, so that's cool. But question, have you thought of writing a guide for 5e to CNC conversions? I have a ton of 5e adventures. You know, no, we have one. Jason's written one for the opposite direction for CNC to 5e, so I can't imagine why he couldn't put something together for to convert 5e to CNC. I think the systems are similar enough. I can't imagine it'd be too difficult. I guess you'd have to assign primes to the monsters, figure out how the primes landed. Some of the abilities probably be kind of tough to roll over. Yeah, that's reverse engineering. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things we've been meaning to get that other note up just so people can convert on the fly. But along with the writer's guidelines, we actually haven't beached the landing craft yet. We haven't quite got there. Slow steps and all of that, I suppose. And of course, we got Gary Con rolling up on top of us. See you later, Douglas, man. It's good seeing you again. So, any more questions? I can't remember. We've done Kickstarter updates. We updated a few of the Kickstarters last week. I wish I had. I'm still negotiating for these images. Davis is working on a new module series. It's kind of a spin-off of the Ace A1, and it's some fantastic art. We've secured the art, but the fellow in the Netherlands, and it's a huge communication gap in his time. He's asleep when I'm responding to him, and I'm asleep when he's responding to me. So it's been a conversation ongoing for a couple of weeks, and everything's settling, but we're now getting the art to it. He's got to kind of spruce it up a little bit, but hopefully he gets that done, and by Monday we'll be able to show everybody images for this new module here. Yeah, I'm not certain on Tricks of the Trade this week. I'm going to have to look. We got to regroup after this stream. We may have to punt Tricks of the Trade to next week. We'll have to play that one a little bit by ear. If we do it this week, we will do it at 8 o'clock Thursday night, definitely. All right. Effie, yeah, absolutely. And Tim and I are working on that now. We were supposed to launch the Backer Kit yesterday. Clearly we did not. And as soon as it goes live on Backer Kit, then we can we'll open that up, and you can come in and back that on the tail end of that. We'll do Gaxmore too, but that'll be a couple of weeks further down the line, I think. My Backer Kit's a great little visual program that lets us organize everything and let everybody dive in from wherever they are coming. Yeah, we need something. We need to wrap up some of these projects, some of these huge projects. Amazing Adventures and Gaxmore both are they're very time consuming in that there's lots of moving parts. In the Gaxmore thing, we've got all the submissions from the backers, and then we've got 15 submissions from industry professionals, and we've got to kind of weave this all together, make sure everybody's legal is protected, and make sure everybody's content is correct, and 5th edition is edited, and then laid out in some kind of, noticeable format. So, and then on the Amazing Adventure side, I think there's 7 or 9 books that come with that Kickstarter, which means we have to get all of that content put together in the proper format and laid out and printed and blah. And so it's just, this happens to TLG all the time. I need to find out from Joe and Bill over at Frog God and Goodman if this happens to them. We seem to have Kickstarters. We work on them, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 of them are ready at the same time, and we're wrapping it up. I gotta break that up sometime. I don't know how. No, I do not. Let's see. I watch almost no sports. I can't think of any sports that I do watch. And I have about 2 minutes of football conversation I do. I can try to keep up with where the Vikings are. That if I was to pick a favorite team, it would be the Vikings, and primarily because when I was a youngster, my dad liked the Vikings, and there was some back in the 70s. There was some famous running back, quarterback, I don't know, with the Vikings, and he loved the Vikings, so I consequently love the Vikings, and there we are. Now I can watch a little NASCAR. Now I can do a little bit of NASCAR. I like to watch cars flying around the track. But really, if I get in the mood, then I just go turn on GTA on the Xbox and play some Grand Theft Auto a little while and just drive madcap around, running people over, blowing stuff up. Well, shooting stuff. You can't really blow things up in GTA, but a little bit. I mean, I guess if you get a tank, you can blow things up. I got an Abrams in the game, so that helps. There's a lot to be said for that, Tim. An awful lot to be said. Drying paint can be very entertaining. Speaking of which, I got to go finish painting that room tonight. I'm about tired of that too, but set everything on fire. Burn it all down. Where's my Pookie reference? Let's see if I can find this for you guys. So Jason Vay and I, we commiserate occasionally with this video. It's from Harold and Kumar Whitecastle. I can't remember. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, this is it.
This makes
Hopefully I don't get in trouble for posting that, but that's one of my favorite video clips. Anytime things get hectic, I send that to Tim or to Jason and remind them that we're done. You know, we have talked to people who have. I don't think it's adult content. There's some cussing in there. I guess that's. We've talked to people from Portugal, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, where a couple other countries that people have taken over the task to translate the Player's Handbook into their native languages, and some we've paid money up front, and some we haven't, but none of it's ever materialized. I really don't know why. I don't. Probably because we don't pursue it aggressively. But I would love to see material, translated into other languages, and certainly with the digital market, it makes it easier to get the material out there. So, anyone you have that might be interested, send them Tim's way. We'll look at the market and see what it can bear. That would be fantastic. Effie, that would be fantastic. Like I said, Spanish has been probably the one that we've had the most offers on, and I know I've sent the quick start rules to at least 3 different people over the past decade, and nothing's ever materialized. I want to say one guy did actually send some stuff over. I don't speak or read Spanish, so I couldn't tell how far he had gotten down the pipe. But you certainly are familiar with the system through and through. Having a Spanish edition would be absolutely fantastic. It'd just be a great idea. German would be really, really cool just because I love German so much. But I absolutely love the German language. Having a German translation would be fantastic. Then maybe we could go to Essen-Spiel, that gigantic game convention out there in Essen, October? Can't remember when Essen-Spiel is. And display our wares, but I think it's mostly a board game convention. I don't think it's an RPG convention. So I haven't gone, so I couldn't tell you one way there. See, there you go. If the Germans are big RPG players, that would be fantastic. And there you go, October. Yeah, so I would love to get out there, and it would be fantastic to have. And the nice thing is, if we had it translated, we can actually print and shop a low print run just to test the waters and see how it goes. There you go, Effie. I would never know. So whatever you put in there, I'd go, okay. I have no idea. I think my daughter speaks a very smidgen of Spanish, but I think Tim may have taken Spanish long ago, but I certainly don't. I never took Spanish. I took French, Latin, and German. I never took Spanish, so I have almost no Spanish other than what I pick up on TV. So, which God knows what that is. So, but yeah, that would be great. Just like you said, fake it till you make it. It'll all work out. All right. Latin would just be cool. My daughter's she's in college now, and she's studying medieval history, and she's learning Latin. She's in Latin for reading comprehension right now. They don't call it that. That's what they call it in my day, or whatever they call it now. But she's taking some kind of, she has to learn to read Latin. She's sort of enjoying it, but Latin is a really cool language. Very, very cool. But of course, for us to translate, for us to put a lot of resources into translating anything, there's got to be a market out there to make it worthwhile. And it's one of those things that because I can't actively market in Germany, we have 2 distributors out there that carry our stuff in Germany. I can't remember the name of them. One's something Spiel, but it's one of those things that I have to get really involved in, and I'm not sure if there's a huge market for Latin. Maybe, I don't know. It's very, very possible. But Italian, that's not close to a Latin, but I'm glad. Now, a Cajun version, that would be awesome. That, I'm from southern Arkansas, which is right on top of Cajun country. So I could definitely get us down into the bayous of Louisiana and sell some Cajun versions of Castles and Crusades. That would be pure awesome. But Bemsky, you and I both probably speak a little Appalachian already, so that probably wouldn't be a hard translate for us. From the hills of the Ozarks to the Blue Ridge Mountains or the Smoky or whatever. Oh yeah, there you go. I don't know if you've ever been in northern Louisiana, but it's one of the prettiest parts of this country. You get to southern Louisiana, it's pretty too, but a little bit more traffic down there. But northern Louisiana is absolutely beautiful, flat as the day is long, sunny, but huge trees, and I can't remember that the hanging moss that hangs from the trees out there. Absolutely beautiful country out in northern Louisiana. So setting an adventure there would be kind of cool. We got our own fair share of swamps here in Arkansas. Drained most of them, but it still creeps up every now and again. There you go. Spanish moss, is that what it's called? Yes, absolutely gorgeous, and especially in the northern part of the state, where the state's still a little bit less, populated. I don't know, occupied, whatever. Oh, does it? Yeah, they're beautiful, and when you go down, I think it's 65. I can't remember whatever highway cuts down south. Not an interstate that takes you when we go to Nolens. You cut through northern Louisiana, and there's a bunch of state parks and just old farm country, old towns, and all about them are these little spots. We have these giant old trees with Spanish moss hanging on them. Beautiful. Though I'm kind of a sucker for scenery. There's almost nowhere in this country outside of cities that I haven't liked it. Wyoming is beautiful. Most states that I've meandered through, I enjoy tremendously. Natchitoches Christmas Festival is amazing. I have no doubt. I haven't been down to Louisiana in a couple of years. Maybe I should go down. I had called to go to Shreveport not long ago. I should probably bebop down there. Well, Shreveport, a different part of the state than what I'm talking about. What kind of announcement is this? We've got 30-plus games at GaryCon. Yeah, GaryCon's in like 2 weeks, so we'll all be up there stomping around, making a lot of noise. And it looks like I have officially pulled the concept of the Lost City of Gax Market Edition being at GaryCon. We're going to take our time and put that book together, so it will not be at the show. But we'll certainly have a mock-up of Luke Gygax's and Ernie Gygax's Lost City at our booth, probably at the main... They'll probably put it up at the main headquarters as well, so people can have a gander at what's coming. It should be laid out by then, but not quite enough time to get it properly laid out and printed before we hit the show with our boots. Let's see. After seeing shipping costs and coffee loudly, I was wondering any chance of print on demand of those. Yeah, like Tim said, Pete, I think we've got a working plan set in place, and we began executing it this morning, and we'll see how quickly that develops. I think really what it boils down to is I've got to approve the final print product, and the one that we were delivered last month I did not approve. I did not like it the way it looked, so we're revisiting that, and as soon as we can get that done and uploaded, and it takes them about a week to 10 days to get me a copy, and I give it the stamp of approval, and then we'll turn that function on, however that works. Tim handles that end of stuff, and then we'll start doing the whole line. We're going to do the player's handbook first, that was printing, but then we'll do the entire line piece by piece after that. And it's really just up to the layout guys how fast they can get that done. We're rocking and rolling on that, hopefully. It's one of the many projects that we're working on around here. We are a bit overwhelmed sometimes. All right, well, does anyone have any other questions? We updated some of the Kickstarters last week. As always, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I apologize for being late today and a little grumpy. This Gaxmore thing, just lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff. And I completely forgot that we were doing a feed today. I'm down at the print shop mucking around, so. No, that's next. I was just about to do that when you texted me. When you said something about people or whatever you said, and I'm like, I got it. Basically, what has to happen is what happens next. Hold on, damn it. Apologies for that. What happens next is we've got to take we got this old 1954 Champion cutter in the print shop, and this thing works insanely beautifully. I mean, it is just huge, monstrous hydraulics, no computers, no software updates, no nothing. It's just a hydraulic. You turn that fucking motor on, and it drops that blade like a son of a gun and cuts through paper like nobody's business. However, the blade has not been changed in quite some time. I don't authorize anyone to change the blade except myself and Mark, and I don't want anyone's fingers cut off. If someone's fingers been cut off, it's only mine. So I got to go in there and tackle this, I don't know, 48-inch long blade or 36 inches, whatever it is. It's just a pain in the rumpus. And I've been putting it off. The trick is, when the blade drops, it'll cut through almost any amount of paper, but the duller it gets, the lower pieces of the paper at the bottom of the pile don't get cut. They either get kind of crumpled or just creased or what have you, and it gets worse as the blade gets duller and duller and duller. So what you do to counteract that is put scrap in there. Any damaged books that we have just go in the scrap pile, and we use those as what we call sacrifice. So you put your book block in, drop your blade down, and when your sacrifice is here, it'll cut all the way through the book block and into the sacrifice, and you just have this mangled mass of paper at the bottom. But my sacrifice is getting ridiculously thick, so I gotta get in there and clean that out. Nobody likes cutting. Davis doesn't like cutting. I don't like cutting. Mark doesn't like cutting. Nobody likes cutting when the sacrifices go so thick. So that'll be next time. Let's see. Big fear is the weight that drops to hold the paper in place. I'd rather have fingers cut off and smashed off. Yeah, that weight is just absolutely huge. And like I said, it's all hydraulic. It'll put some hurt on there. Definitely. But that blade, I guess if you lop your fingers off, they probably could sew them back on. Davis has had 3 sewed back on, but if it's crushed, they're just going to amputate it and call it a day. Yeah, that's not good. We worked with this company out in South Little Rock. We used to do our boxes. The old Zadig boxes were made by these guys. And I'm not sure which machine. They had a much larger print shop than we do. I'm not sure which machine they had it in, but it had rollers that spun the cardboard, because they were making boxes, spun the cardboard up. Something got jammed And I can't remember the guy's name now. Don, I think is his name. He tried to grab it. His hand got caught in those rollers, and it folded his fingers of this hand back over on the top of his hand there, and just broke all four of his fingers into all smithereens, and it was a mess. But he was done. That was it for him. He had to retire. It was a debilitating injury, and that's one reason that I don't like anyone messing with the with the blade other than me. They really are. There's a lot of blades swinging even in the binding machine. I mean, you get your thumb caught in those. It's 3 spinning grinding blades that chew up the book block before it gets glued put on it. You get your finger caught in that, and not only is your finger going to get pulled into that, but it's going to get shredded. Open that. Ooh, that would have hurt. Yeah. Well, at least he saved it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Miranda might be right. It's just smashing the fingers might be worse than just slicing them off. We should ask Davis. Davis, actually, the first finger he lost was because he was trying to catch a trailer hitch, and the trailer hitch and the ball on the truck crushed his finger, ripped it off. Interestingly enough, as it crushed it and he jerked his hand out, the finger came out kind of in shreds, and he managed to catch it in his hand. The second one he cut off with a lawnmower blade, and the third one I think also with a lawnmower blade. So we should ask Davis which is worth getting smashed off or cut off. He'll know. Oh, there you go. That's very cool, Brandy. So you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you can come change his blade. I really don't want to do it. It's just a giant pain in the rumpus. I just doubt that you could. It's just so much. I don't know. It's just so much to do. You know, you got to pay attention to it, man. A lot going on there. I say that it's really just 9 bolts. It's 9 bolts in a blade. You lower it, take the 9 bolts out, pull the blade out, put the new blade in. And it's the putting the new blade in that's a pain in the rumpus, because you got to make sure it sets square and straight before it actually cut it straight. And probably the single most annoying thing is we had 3 blades for the machine that we had purchased, and one didn't fit. And I was trying to change it one day, and the blade it wouldn't fit. And after working with it for like an hour, shifting, adjusting, and shifting, I finally called Mark on the phone and said, "Hey, blade number 3." And before I even finished it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that one doesn't fit. Don't use that one." I'm like, ah. So I took it down to my blade sharpener and left it with him and told him I don't want that blade back. No, I don't think so. We take them down. We take them down Mirandia to this guy, Jim Turner's Knives and Blades or something, and he has this industrial sharpener that sharpens the thing. Because I think it's 36 inches, 38, maybe 40 inches. It's about yay long, about that thick. So maybe, but yeah, I don't think so. And we certainly couldn't get it as sharp as he does. I really need to be swapping this thing out every 2 months probably, and this one's been on. We were cutting yesterday. Todd was cutting, I think. One of us was cutting, and there was so much. We'd cut a book that hadn't dried properly last week, and that would be me, and it got glue stuck to the blade, and I cleaned most of it off, but didn't get it all off, so there's glue on the blade, which impacts it's just a mess. The blade's got to come off, so that's happening very, very, very soon. Alright. Yeah, it's actually fun. I actually enjoy the print shop. It's a nice break from computer work and laying books down in InDesign or messing in Photoshop or even writing stuff in Word. It's just a nice break. Once you get kind of in the routine of binding or cutting or whatever it is you're doing, that's what you're doing. So. Yeah, well, ours, Miranda, we also keep packing peanuts go in the print shop as well. All packing material go in the print shop. I built shelves all over the place so that each type of box has its own kind of place where it goes, over the cutter or over the binder or over some of the overstock, blah, 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 what have you. But I had Todd bring us, shipping has been picking up. We've been shipping a lot lately, so I had Todd get us 6 bags of packing peanuts. So it smells like packing peanuts right now. which is a good smell. Ours are not plastic, of course, or whatever. They're cornstarch, so it's a very nice, relaxing smell when you go into the print shop. Absolutely love it out there. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, thankfully, we haven't had anything break in about 3 months. Last thing broke was the drive chain on the binder, and that thing just, we didn't even hear it break actually. But when you ran the book across the binder to the end, it made some god awful noise. So we had to take the whole thing apart, find a little piece that snapped, and replace the piece, and blah 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 blah. Good stuff. Yeah, no, Commander. Yeah, I don't. I will occasionally, if there is some kind of emergent TLG or family matter, I will occasionally take my cell phone out there. I've quit taking cell phones out there. Really, there should be no phones in the office or in the print shop. You should be paying attention to what you're doing because there's lots of equipment and there's lots of room to get hurt and hurt bad, and we don't need any of that. So I don't even want the distraction of a phone. Plus, I don't want the distraction of a phone. So any excuse that I can come up with. All right, so what are we doing on the 21st of February? We've got a Troll Nerd Chat going on, so that's this Friday, I'm assuming, 7 o'clock on the Discord, and we're going to have to let everybody know what GM Tricks of the Trade is happening this week, and next week, of course, we'll be back here, and then we will definitely do GMTT next week, and I believe Tim will have, we'll have another World Anvil next week, but that's where we'll land. I think that's about it for today. I got to get out there and change that blade and all those other doodly-doo. But thanks, everybody, for, what are we doing tomorrow at 1? Okay, apparently there is a World Anvil tomorrow at 1, not not next week. So check that out at 1 p.m. tomorrow, Central Standard Time, for the World Anvil. And everybody, thanks for showing up. Thanks for wandering in and for all the questions. We'll be back next week and have more printer tales. Whatever's hounding us next week in these crazy shops. Well, actually, it's new shelving. We got new shelving coming in because we got so many products coming with Amazing Adventures 5th Edition, blah, blah, blah. So that'll be next week's adventure. All right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by, and we will see you next time.